All right, cool. My friends, welcome back to the Smokey Mirror Podcast, where we dive deep into creative minds that are shaping our culture and inspiring us all. I'm your host. My name is Jordan Jones. I'm your host and fellow creator, and I'm on a mission to spread knowledge and inspiration to help people like you leave your mark on the world. From artists to musicians to entrepreneurs and more, join me as we explore the intentional act of creation and the forces that drive us to do God's work. As always, I'd love to shout out our sponsors, Earth Saliva. Right now, they are giving out a membership, just $9.99, and you can enjoy an incredible 40% discount, empowering you to embrace nature's wisdom and enhance your vitality at an unbeatable value. I picked up the ashwagandha and the whey protein, and these supplements truly made the membership worth it in all aspects. I also want to shout out www.scut.shop, our merchandise brand. Please go on there to shop hats, shorts, everything you need. And today I have my guest on, Keldrick Mobley. He is going to be talking about his upcoming book titled The Road Trip Method, a writer's guide on how to wait, on how to write a story, on how to start a story with the end. So Keldrick, I really appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate being here.
Absolutely. So tell me, like, what was the impetus behind this book and why are you writing it?
Okay, so I have a coaching business where I help writers write, and and I'll admit that I wasn't 100% on it. I it was almost like something I did almost as a hobby, but I've been doing it for a really long time, and I decided that I really wanted to take it more serious. And so I looked at what other coaches were doing, and a lot of other coaches have books that talk about, how it is that they, the methods that they use. And I was like, man, well, what is it that I do, or how do I do it that's, that can differentiate from what other coaches do? And it took a while for me to really say, oh, I know what it is that I do. And I tell this to all my students. I tell this to everybody. I always start my stories with the ending first. Right? It's really, really important for me to know where the story's going to end up at. And then what I do is I just kind of work my way from that, I call it the road trip method because, if you're planning a road trip, let's say you want to go to, I don't know, Mount Rushmore or whatever, right? You know that, right? That's where we're going to end up. We're going to end up in Mount Rushmore, right? So now that we know where we're going to go, we can plot our course. We can plot our route along there to see what other things we want to see along the way to getting to Mount Rushmore. So we know where we're going. All right, cool. Now let's stop off in, Vegas, see the Grand Canyon. Let's stop off over in, whatever. So to me, it helps out. It was something that I inadvertently was doing. I didn't even know I was doing it, but that's what it ended up being. So I wrote the book because one, it's a good guide for new writers and maybe even some veteran writers who might need a little bit, to be a kickstart for them. But I wrote it because I wanted to help as many people as I could get over writer's block, which is something that I don't suffer from, and to really be confident in what it is that they're trying to put out. I feel like a lot of writers sometimes they lack that confidence or just need to realize that whatever they have to say is good. They got to get out of their own way and let it come out of them. So that's really kind of why I did it.
Okay. Well, I do want to dive more into the book, but before we do that, I actually want to learn more about your background and, like, how did you get into coaching and writing? What's your history with writing and all of that?
All right. So I've been writing for over 30 years. Right, I don't look it, but
right, you're a young man, 30 years, that's crazy.
But I've been writing for over 30 years. I started writing like in elementary school, right? Because I used to try to draw like little comics in class. I was one of those kids. I'd get done with my work and I needed to do something else. I was really talkative when I was in school, so teachers always telling me to be quiet, so I had to do something to distract me. So at first, I just started drawing, comics. But then the teachers would see me doodling comics, and they snatched them from me, and I couldn't do that. Yeah. So I started writing the stories that I was thinking of for the comics, And now it looks like I'm doing work, right? Because I'm writing and they look over your shoulder. Okay, he's writing. So that's kind of where it started at. And then let's see. So I was writing the entire time around Hurricane Andrew. I don't know if you've been here long enough for that, but Hurricane Andrew, I wrote my first like actual story, if you will, my first really long drawn out story during Hurricane Andrew. And that idea stayed in my head. The concept stayed with me for a long time. I worked on that little book of mine from middle school all the way through high school. And it kind of sat there. Then I went to...
What was that one about?
So that wasn't really like... So this isn't bad. I didn't think we was going to get into this. So that was just a story that I had in my head that I was writing freehand, like on paper, back to back. It wasn't anything that I ever put out. It was just a story that I wanted to tell. I love, you know, action movies and things like that. And back then, you know, there were movies like Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, and there wasn't really a lot of movies with us, you know, in them like that. You may have had like Beverly Hills Cop or something like that, but really those, I don't really consider those to be black action movies. They had Eddie Murphy in them, but you know, it was Eddie Murphy in a white setting and whatever, which is cool. But I wasn't seeing me, you know, on the screen. So I wrote these little action books, if you will, just little things I wrote on by hand. But it stayed with me, right? It stayed with me all through high school. And then I went to Miami-Dade. I got my associates in English over there. And then life happened. So I got into the workforce. So I kind of put, you know, I was always writing, but it slowed down because I had work to do. I wrote my actual first novel, which is called Lions for a Day. I wrote that about maybe 16 years ago. And the concept for Lions for a Day was based off of the thing that I wrote back when I was, you know, in middle school. Only it was now more refined and whatnot. So that was my first book that I put out back in the day. And then more time passed. I had my first son. And then I went to Full Sail University, where I got my bachelor's in creative writing. And it was getting my bachelor's in creative writing that saw me I thought I was going to be a novelist. But then when I started learning about how to write screenplays, that became the optimal medium for me because it was really liberating. I really love screenplays. And then a few years, I want to say maybe 6 years ago, I was working at the airport in Fort Lauderdale, and there was a terrorist attack. Well, not a terrorist attack. It was a lone gunman guy came in there, and he decided he was gonna, you know, act a fool at this airport, and it shut the whole thing down. And the craziest thing is they thought there was another shooter. So police, you gotta imagine, police, SWAT team, all this other stuff coming to the airport, right? They think that this guy's not acting alone. And this is the craziest thing. Out of all the people they could have targeted, out of the thousands of people at this airport that could have been another shooter, they thought it was me.
That's crazy.
So I'm standing in front of a SWAT team, hands up, you know what I mean? They're ready. And it was and this is crazy. It was in that moment, inside of that moment, I was like, this is it. My legacy ends here. This is it. And I was instantly filled with regret, right? For all the things that I hadn't done yet, right? It wasn't my life flashing. It wasn't, it was, damn, I didn't do this. I didn't do this. I didn't do this. I didn't do this. I was instantly filled with it. The situation, you know, I don't want to get too much into that situation, but it was a good thing in a way because I took some time off from work and I thought about what is it that I haven't done that I really wanted to do. So there was a movie I had in my head for years. I sat in my room, I locked myself in my room for 3 weeks, and I banged out my first screenplay, my first feature screenplay called Skater Boy. And I didn't do anything other than write. I listened to Miles Davis, Bitches Brew on repeat. On repeat.
That's it. 3 weeks straight.
Bro, I didn't listen to nothing else other than Miles Davis, Bitches Brew on repeat for 3 weeks and banged out this screenplay and just started sending it everywhere. Right? No editing, nothing. Just boom, 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 send it out. Right? Okay. I'm trying to make this long story very short.
Hey, take your time. We got time.
I start sending it out to all these contests, all these places, all this other stuff. Right? And if you know anything about screenplay competitions, they take a while to get back to you. So it's not like I submitted it on, Tuesday and, next week I'm hearing back. Months passed. So in the time that passed, I ended up getting fired from that job, which was a blessing in disguise, right? And there was one particular person I sent my screenplay to, this guy up in Atlanta. Shout out to Dan Copeland. And he contacts me and he goes, Keldrick Mobley? And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, Dan Copeland, da 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 da. And he says, oh, I'm a script broker. And I'm like, okay. And he says, yeah, I got your script in front of me. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, okay, here we go. And he's like, I got your script in front of me, and brother, you can write. And I'm like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't? Obviously, right? And he's like, well, I get a lot of scripts. I get a lot of screenplays, and a lot of people, they cannot write. They think they can write, they can't. And you can actually write. And I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. Thanks. You're gonna go send my screenplay, right? So
yeah, I got it now. What?
And what he hits me with is a proposition. And he says, I'm going to work on getting your screenplay sold. But in the meantime, can I send some scripts to you and you look them over and, see, if they're any good, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, okay, sure. Whatever, dude. No problem. And that's kind of how I got into the coaching, right? So he would send me screenplays. Some of them good, some of them needed work. And I would read them and tell him, hey, this one's good, this one's no good, da, da, da. But then there would be some screenplays that I would get that were, the story was good, but maybe the formatting was off, right? Like, well, there were things that could have been tweaked to make it a little bit better, so then he's like, well, how about this? How about I have them contact you and then you can help them make it better? And I was like, all right, bet. But what I didn't realize he was going to be doing was talking me up, right? So these people, when they contact me, they're like, oh my God, Mr. Mobley. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so glad for you to be talking to me. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Look, I read your screenplay. It's nice, but it could use a little. But that's how I got started. And then that's when I started noticing this pattern in a lot of new writers, a pattern of not being confident, a pattern of having the story but not having it fully fleshed out, not really knowing the direction. You can, like, it gets weird after a while. If you read so many screenplays, you can tell, and for anyone watching, we can tell in the first 5 or 10 pages if it's going to be good or not. Okay,
How can you tell?
There's just things, not just formatting. It could be in the way you're presenting the story. It could be in the way you're presenting your dialogue, the way you're introducing your characters. It could be formatting issues as well. Some people have good stories and bad formatting.
And when you say formatting, do you mean literally like the way the paragraphs are?
I'm literally talking about how the words are on the screen, because the idea is to sell your screenplay, right? You want to sell it to a theater, a production company or something like that. You got to keep in mind that these companies have people who look at the screenplays. They've got a boss, right? So you got a stack of screenplays. I don't know what my camera is. You got a stack of screenplays on your desk, okay? And your boss is saying, hey, I need you to get me a hit. So dig through this stack of screenplays and find me a hit. I need it by whatever. Okay, cool, thanks. You're going through that stack. If you don't want to give your boss crap, right? So you're going through that stack and you're going, no, you're throwing them out, because after the first few pages, if the person can't write, if you're looking at it and you're seeing that they can't write, you're going to throw it out. Somebody could have Schindler's List in their pile, but if it's formatted all wrong, they're going to, this person don't know what they're doing. They're going to throw it out. So I'm going to tie it back in. Remember, I submitted my screenplay to all these contests. One of the contests that I submitted my screenplay to was the Nichols Academy. This is the folks that give out Oscars and whatnot. Okay. So I got an email back from the Oscars, and they were like, all right, Keldrick, hey, we got your screenplay, Skater Boy. We judge on a 3-point scale. You scored 2 out of 3 points. That ranks you in the top 15% of screenwriters in the world. And I was like, damn, I'm awesome. But 2 out of 3 points isn't a winner.
Right.
And I requested feedback. I was what did you call it? Skater Boy was a quarterfinalist in the Page Awards, which is another big screenplay contest. And I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing, but I'm not hitting the mark, right? And I didn't want other people to be discouraged, because sometimes you can get that news and you're like, oh well, I'm no good. Forget it. I'm forget it. I'll go back to dishwashing or whatever. No disrespect to dishwashing, but I'm saying, like, people who have their dream and and all they hear is this one thing, and they're like, oh well, I didn't win this, or I didn't place well in this, so forget it. They were right. I'm no good. I hate that feeling, and I lost so many contests because of little things, grammatics, my formatting being off, or my pacing is off, or my character development is off, and all of this stuff. After a while, you learn, okay, I got to fix these things so I can be better, right? I don't want that for someone else, especially my people, because there's a small space being carved out for us, and I want it to be bigger. Mm-hmm. I want more of us to write. I want more of us to write movies that reflect us, because we are definitely more than, and we're seeing it, right? We're seeing a small uptick in movies that aren't the normal, gangster, ball player, drug dealer, slave. We're seeing more of them, and I'm loving it. Right now, I want to see some Black science fiction. I want to see some Black, karate movies. I want to see a Black, action movie. I want all of it to be blown wide open. And I know it's there because people send them to me. Mm-hmm. I know they're there, right? So that's kind of where it kind of went. That's how I got into the coaching thing. The pandemic was real good to me, because now people are like, man, I don't gotta go to work. Let me live out my dreams. And my greatest story, or my greatest success story, is I had one of my students. She'd never written a screenplay in her life. She'd never written anything in her life. She came to me. She's an older woman, not that much older, but she was kind of, and she's like, well, Keldrick, I've never done this before, but I have this idea, and I really want to, I want your help to turn it into something. I said, all right, cool. Show me what you got. She showed me her idea. I was like, okay, you got something. And I began to teach her the basics of screenwriting. And in 4 weeks, she went from having never written a single word in her entire life to now knowing how to write an entire screenplay, formatted properly, and everything like that.
Wow.
Time passed, right? So, okay, cool. You learned how to write a movie. Dope. Time passed. I'm on Instagram scrolling. I see her post on Instagram, and she's on the set of a movie or something, or production. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I look at the caption. She's on set for the thing that she worked on with me. She's on set for that.
Wow.
Whoa. So I hit her up, right? I'm like, congratulations, blah, blah, blah. She says, oh my God, Keldrick, you don't understand. Because of what you showed me, and this is how people work, right? When you really got that drive, when you really, really want it, you're gonna do whatever it takes.
Correct.
She put herself in certain places to be around certain productions, to be around certain people. And when the timing was right, she talked about what she had, and somebody was like, oh, that's a great idea. Now, and this was a year ago, or this was a year and a half ago. Now I'm talking to her on the phone, and she's like, well, BET had this contest, and I'm in the running for this contest to have my movie made and produced for BET. And like, it was like, I could have cried.
That's crazy.
I could have cried. I'm like, what? And she's like, this is all thanks to you.
Wow.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm on the right path. I'm on the right path.
I know that's gotta feel good. That's gotta feel really good.
It's like watching your baby walk.
Yeah.
It's like I did this. You know what I mean? And I want to keep doing it. There's so many people that have this dream of wanting to write. There's so many of them, and they're afraid to do it, or they think, oh, my idea is not good, or whatever, and that fear stops them. And I tell everybody, every single person who comes to me, I tell them all the same thing. Don't ever think your idea is bad, because there's a movie out there. There's a movie franchise out there that's worth $1 billion, and it is about sharks.
Sharknado. That's crazy, because that was what came into my head. I was like, there's plenty of stupid movies out there. Bro, Cocaine Bear, whatever.
Cocaine Bear.
Come on.
Have you heard this one called Velocipaster?
A velociraptor pastor?
Pastor who turns into a velociraptor to get his revenge because of a prostitute. Bro,
That's crazy.
don't you ever tell me your idea is dumb.
I mean, I think I love that story, Kels, of you just kind of going through helping that lady. And honestly, I have a project that I actually want to show you towards the end of our conversation and see what you think, because I've always had a passion for writing. I've always been a good writer, actually.
Yeah.
But creatively, I haven't really. It's like I didn't know how to start. You know what I mean? It's like I had good ideas. Like I've always had that drive of like, damn, I'm so tired of the slave movies, the gangster movies. I want a black fucking vampire movie. I want black Star Wars, or not even just black, just different. Like I'm tired
just
of
different.
Just different. I'm
just
tired
different.
of the same old.
It's so hard for me to watch a movie and connect with, Ryan Gosling, who's cool. Don't get me wrong, bro. He's cool, but how many Ryan Goslings can I look at?
Right.
You know what I mean? How many? What's the dude? How many? Deadpool guy.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. Look, they got the same damn name. How many Ryan Reynolds can I look at? You know what I mean? I love seeing. You know who I think is hot? That boy, John Boyega.
John Boyega, yeah.
Bro, I just watched I Clone Tyrone. They Clone Tyrone.
Fire movie.
I'm like, bro, this dude is hot. Him, Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan. Now, that's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Michael B. Jordan is what I'm talking about, because his production company actually does stuff in other realms, right? He does animation because he's got an anime on HBO. Well, it's not HBO no more, but he's got an anime on Max.
He does?
Yeah, bro.
Oh,
he got an anime called Genlock.
Genlock.
Mm-hmm. He has an anime called Genlock. He's the producer of this Netflix show, Raising Dion, right? About the kid with superpowers. He produced and directed the last Creed movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He served as producer on Without Remorse, which is now this is crazy. Without Remorse is a Tom Clancy novel, right? The character of his character John Clark is actually a white dude, but he flipped it, right? And I'm like, see, that's what I'm talking about. It's an action movie starring a black dude. It doesn't necessarily matter that he's black, but it's cool that he is.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It wasn't him being black had nothing to do with the story. Nobody mentioned it. Like it wasn't a thing.
It wasn't a thing.
That's what I want.
That's what I'm trying to get to. I want to get to where it's just that's just what it is, right? It's just what it is, and I don't care that he and we're accepted like that. But in order to do that, we got to keep creating, we have to keep writing, we have to keep putting these stories out. I'm gonna tell you when I believe the industry flipped on itself. Okay, and I hate to talk like this because there's no one else to back it up for me, but some years ago I was approached to do a YouTube series before YouTube TV. Okay, so this was years ago. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I wrote this pilot, banged it out because I was excited. I wrote this pilot, banged it out, boom, 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 boom. And like 45 minutes, I banged out this pilot. Went to the meeting, showed it to the people, and they're like, "Yo, okay, this is great." One thing. Let's not make the main character black. Let's think right. And I was like, "What?"
Oh yeah, wait a minute, huh?
What do you mean? They're like, "Well, we want to reach a broader audience," and I'm like, but you will reach a broader audience because it's got the action that people want to see, and then you've got a character that people don't normally see in this type of action. So you're gonna get all of that. They're like, now we want. I said, all right, cool, no problem, thanks. Walked away. Took my thing and bounced. Right now, a couple years later, a movie called Girls Trip comes out. You remember this movie, Girls Trip?
Mm-hmm.
What did Girls Trip do?
It took all the black girls and they went to like Essence Fest or something.
Girls Trip made $100 million at the box office. When Girls Trip made $100 million at the box office, Hollywood went, whoa.
Wait a minute.
Y'all Y'all like seeing yourselves on screen? Whoa, 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 whoa. Then what happened? Black Panther came out. What did Black Panther do?
Crazy numbers.
Billion. Billy. Whoa, wait a minute. You mean to tell me we can put y'all on the screen in an action movie and y'all will go watch that too? What happens when you see yourself reflected in stuff? You want to see more of yourself reflected in it, right? So now now the price goes up in a sense. Your values change. Once we understand our value, like Fat Joe said, right? Yesterday's prices ain't today's prices. Once we understand our value, once we understand, hey, we got something to give that's valuable, and we can start demanding more, you're going to see a huge shift in Hollywood. Right? Not right. Well, right now they got the writer's strike going on, which is a big deal. But once that's all said and done, there needs to be more of us writing stories. There needs to be more of us telling stories with us in it, with us reflected in it, because we want to see it. We're untapped. We're for the most part an untapped market. It's crazy to me.
I agree. One thing that I'm curious to hear your thoughts on is Tyler Perry's, because you mentioned our guy Michael B. Jordan, and I love the stuff that he's doing. I didn't even know about the anime and that other
check it out.
That other thing, because I like anime. I'm definitely gonna check it out. I fuck with the Japanese, so I definitely will check out the brothers. You know who had an anime that was really good? Jaden Smith. He actually had a really good one that was on Netflix.
You talk about
Neo Tokyo or something like that? No. It was something like that.
Really cool. It was real funny. I liked it. There's another anime on Netflix by a brother. It's called Cannon Busters.
Cannon Busters. Interesting.
Cannon Busters. Okay. It started off, this brother drew this. He was a comic that this brother. I wish I knew his name. I'm sorry for the brother, but a brother started this comic called Cannon Busters. It's a black anime. Okay, check it out. It's really, really cool. It's on Netflix, called Cannon Busters. I don't know if there was never any talk of a renewal because it came out a couple years ago. But dope anime by this brother. Check it out when you get a chance. And then there's another one called Yusuke.
Yusuke. Oh yeah, Yusuke with the Black Samurai.
With the Black Samurai, Lakeith Stanfield. Another brother I admire, Lakeith Stanfield. Is in that one. But my feelings on Tyler Perry, I'll say this, and I think everyone will agree. You can't beat that brother's work hustle. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You're not beating him. Okay, and I think that's admirable, and I really appreciate the space that he's created, to tell his stories and whatnot. I don't know how true it is, so I hate speaking on things that I don't know 100%. I don't know how true it is that he doesn't have a writer's room. If that's true, that's not cool. You know what I mean? Like if that's true, I don't know if it's true or not. But apparently he writes all of his own stuff. He doesn't have a writer's room. That to me is a little disturbing, because you can open, if you have a writer's room, you can open it up to obviously more writers and more, more ideas, and you can, that's the whole point of it, is to bounce ideas off of people and generate more stories and whatnot. But I admire him, and I love what he does. He's got a studio in Atlanta, which is amazing. I say it's safe to say he's kind of what you probably want to strive to be. Yeah. You know what I mean? He can, because he does it all on his own. And what I like about him is how smart he drops his movies. Okay? He doesn't drop his movies when Mission Impossible is coming out. Right? He drops his movies relatively in the time where movies aren't, big movies aren't coming out. Yeah. So what happens? No big movie comes out. How easy for him, because he's got such a loyal fan base, for him to drop a movie and it be the #1 movie in America. That's an accolade that he can say, oh yeah, my movie's #1. Well, yeah, nobody else can drop. But the numbers don't lie. He still does big numbers, and he's got a character that people, I think they may be nowadays maybe a little bit with, but people still love to see his characters. You know what I mean? People still love to go out and see, and there are lessons to be learned from a lot of his movies, and people like that. He's got a good staple. I admire the man. If I ever get a chance to work with him, I definitely would. I mean, come on, he's Tyler Perry. Come on, bro. That's stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Come on. You never know what could come from that. So I admire him. I hope he continues. I'm upset about the BET thing because there was a rumor that he purchased BET. Turns out Viacom pulled that deal and he wasn't able to do it because I think that would have been a huge win for us, but wasn't in the cards.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Tyler Perry is a legend and an icon. I guess my only thing is I just would want more of what we're talking about, the fantasy, the stuff that ain't got to do with black. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get the audience and where you're coming from, but I'm just like, bro, another one of these movies.
I get that, right? And I agree with you on this one. And all I'm wishing is with all the resources that he has, right? He can make
risk.
He can make an action joint, and possibly get a whole nother demographic. Because right now he's got black women, click clink.
Oh yeah, and a lot.
You know what I'm saying? Got him locked down. That's dope, and that has made him successful. So in that sense, it makes sense to keep doing what is working. Okay, but at the same time, Tyler, bro, I want to watch a Tyler Perry movie. You know what I'm saying?
Right, me too. Right, me too.
You know what I'm saying? I want to watch a Tyler. I want to go in there and see the Black Expendables. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to go see the Black, and he's a big sci-fi fan. He's a huge sci-fi fan.
I would have never guessed.
He's in he makes a guest appearance in Star Trek. In one of the Star Treks, I can't remember which one, but he makes a guest appearance. He is a big sci-fi fan. Bro, Tyler, I will write you a sci-fi series, man. Come on.
I love it.
Come on. So
what would you say is the biggest difference between writing a novel and writing a screenplay?
Ooh. Okay. So with writing a novel, you get the liberty of telling it however you want, right? I could sit here. I got my laptop right here. I could sit right here on this laptop and I could say, as Keldrick sat in his office talking to Jordan, he felt feelings of elation and blah, 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 right? So with a novel, you're painting the picture with as many words as you can because there's nothing, right? I have to fill your brain with the imagery and the senses that I'm feeling. With the novel, you have the freedom to say whatever you want to say and paint that picture for the reader so that they can get a feeling of what it is that you're trying to convey. All right. You can do that with as many words as you like, or you can do it Hemingway style and use as least words as you like to convey that. Hemingway, by the way, top 3 writers of all time, right? Because he does a lot with a little, which is fantastic. Screenplays, though, I love them both because I started with novels. I love them both. But screenplays, to me, because you're limited to the format, right? You're limited to what you can put. With a screenplay, you're trying to put as much information on the page with as little words as possible, right? Because it's up to the director, unless you are the one directing it, right? It's up to the director to interpret what they're seeing on the screen and say, okay, let's take the same example. Okay, we're interior, Keldrick's office, daytime, right?
Right.
Now we know where we're at. It's up to the director to decide, what things are important to add, into this, right? Oh, there's a painting of a beach in the background, and walls are lavender, right? So then we'll say, Keldrick, mid-40s, handsome, sits at his desk with his laptop open. He's typing away, right? So with a screenplay is simply instructions. That's it. A screenplay is instructions for what I, as the watcher, what I'm going to see and what I'm going to hear. That's it. You can't put Keldrick thinks he's da-da-da-da. Jordan seems like he's none of that. None of that. It's just instructions for what I see and what I hear. And then it's up to the director, the producers, and even the actor at times to say, okay, here's how I'm seeing it. The director has the vision. So the director's like, all right, we're going to put, lavender walls up there because it matches, the whatever, right? With screenplays, what I like is everything's intentional, right? There's never a movie that you've watched, unless it was poorly made, but there's never a movie that you've watched where everything that you saw on the screen wasn't put there on purpose. Everything has a purpose, right? And I love that because now you have the freedom to go, all right, cool. I'm going to create this world and I'm going to put this in it. I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put this Easter egg in. You know what I mean? Like it's to me, it's just more fun to write a screenplay than a novel. A novel, which is, they're cool. I love them. A novel can be anywhere from, 100 pages to, 350, you know what I mean?
Right.
Go on forever. But that to me is the biggest difference.
That's cool. No, I like that. It really is. It feels like it's instructions, and then it gets a life of its own with the team, the production, the director, the actors, etc.
Yeah.
I guess this probably ties into a little to the book too. When you're thinking about, somebody's thinking about, all right, I'm about to get started writing. How do you get the end in mind and start to come up with, like, say you have a concept, and then you're like, all right, I have a character. I think he's cool. Where do you go from there? Like, just getting started, like somebody's listening, they're like, all right, this sounds great. Like, how would I do it? I have an idea. Where do I get started?
Well, one thing you can do is you can go to Amazon.com and download Road Trip Method, which is available for pre-sale right now on Amazon. But starting with the ending, to me, is ideal because, like I said, it helps me, right? It's a guidepost. Okay, I know I'm gonna go that way. I know that. Now it's a matter of selecting how I'm going to get there. When you think about your characters, for example, right? All characters have to go through, or it's best if they go through, a journey. And again, I do talk about this in the Road Trip Method. I do, because it's a guide, right? No pun intended, but it is a guide. And it shows you the different types of stories you can tell, right? It shows you different types of character development. It shows you different types of endings, because there's more than just one ending. There's the ambiguous ending. There's the cliffhanger. There's the happy ending. There's the not so happy ending. There's all different types of endings. Knowing all these things helps you, right? It helps you get rid of some of those choices. You don't have to think too much about, oh man, should I end it on a cliffhanger? Should I end it, Well, you know where it's going to go. When you're developing your characters, there is a natural progression that feels good to watch. We want our characters to go through stuff, because if they don't go through anything, then who gives? I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. That's kind of why it's hard to make a Superman movie, right?
It's invincible. Hard.
Yeah. He's invincible. He's invincible. He's a handsome white man. Like,
he can fly.
Like, and the only way you can really kill him is to have a kryptonite, which is hard. Come on, bro. How are you going to get kryptonite? Come on, dude.
Made up.
You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to write Superman movies and for him to be relatable to people because he's super. We want people that we can relate to. We want to see someone go through something because we can relate to going through something. We want to see them overcome it. Even if we're currently going through something and we don't think we can overcome it, if we see someone on the screen and they can overcome it, it gives us hope that we can. That's what we want. I've always said this, when you talk about your characters, okay? And this is a little tidbit, right? You want to give your characters something easy. What they want is simple. Simple. Okay? Getting it should be hard as hell. Think about Die Hard, one of my favorite movies of all time. What does John McClane want?
Avenge his wife or get her back or whatever?
No. In Die Hard Part 1, the only thing John McClane wants is to see his wife. How hard is that? How hard is that? He's going. That's it. He lives in New York. She lives in California. He's just going to get on a plane, get off the plane, go pick her up from this office party, and take her home so he can be with his family for the holidays. How many people can do that? 1 billion people can do that. That's easy. That's the easiest thing in the world. All right, sweetie, I'll be there in a little bit. All right, cool. See what you get. How hard is that? Are you married?
No, I'm single.
Married, single? Okay, but you got to, whatever. How hard is it for you to see your significant other?
It's easy.
Easy. Now throw like 12 terrorists in front of you and say, all right, cool. Go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's right there. They're in the same building. He's only a few floors away from her. But he got Hans Gruber and all of his henchmen. He got one gun. No shoes.
Run around barefoot.
Barefoot. Shoot the glass. Now come on, bro. You give your character something so easy that they want. Oh, that's all he wants? Psh, cool. Now make it hard as hell to get it. When you do that, when you've mastered that technique, that art, that's character development. Nice. Look at what they had to do to get there. And we want to see them. We want to see them fail. We want to see them almost win, because he kind of almost does. He almost wins. There's a part where bro, come on. You do that, I'm telling you, that I don't know. That's, to me, that's one of the secrets that I don't hear a lot of writers or coaches talking about. Like, make it easy. Now give them hell to get. And
I'm definitely gonna check out the book.
Yeah,
I got to get the book, because one book I have read is it's called Save the Cat. I forgot the guy's name.
Yeah, Save the Cat.
But that one, because I'm like I said, I've had that bug. Like, I feel like I need to be writing shit. Like, God gave me a good pen, but I haven't been really using it. I've been doing other things. So okay. I just love that you're doing this and trying to push more people to get into writing, because I think it is I wouldn't say a lost art, but maybe it's just not as many of us feel like we can or should do it.
I feel like not a lot of us think we can do it. Yeah. Right? Because, and I'm only saying that because of the people that come to me. Right? They come to me, and I'm gonna tell you this. I can't tell you how many people I bump into, right? And they go, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm a writer. Oh, you're a writer. Oh man, I want to write a book. And my first, okay, go write it. And then there's this awkward
shit.
What's stopping you?
Right.
Go.
Your own head.
Your own head, right? The road trip method talks about overcoming those doubts. It talks about manifestation. It talks about things to build your confidence. It does all of that. And it's like 40-something pages. Okay? But it does those things because mastering or not even mastering, but understanding those concepts helps you when you're brainstorming. Okay? The reason I do not suffer from writer's block is because I don't let myself get blocked. It's just that I know it sounds, I know, but it's true. I don't allow it. I don't go, nah, that's not it. No. That's what you do. You sit there, you're about to write something, and you go, nah, no, let it, because you might not use that idea, but maybe the one that comes after it, or after that, let it flow out of you. My favorite rapper, okay, is a dude named Cannabis. All right. He had a rhyme where he said, I'm gonna mess it up. He said, through deterrents. How did he say it? Well, basically he said, I never write the wrong sentence. If I ever said it, I meant it. Right? And I was like, damn. I never write the wrong sentence? That means whatever I put down was correct. Right? And if I said it, I meant it. Okay, dope. That means I can do no wrong. If it came out of me, I can't mess it up. I can do no wrong. And when I realized I can't write it wrong, it helped me to let it flow. Because people need to also understand, get it out of you. Because you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna go back and you're gonna edit. Any real writer will tell you, any writing coach will tell you that writing is rewriting.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't just spit the novel out and okay, boom, all right, we're cool, thanks. No. You get it out of you, and then you go back and you make it better. You sharpen it. Okay? I tell people, look, you want to write a screenplay? Cool. Here's what you do. Write your screenplay, go write a short film. Could be 5-10 pages just to get it out of you. Once you're done with that, delete it and write it again. What do you mean delete it? Delete it. Go back and write it all over again from your head. It's going to be better every single time you do it. All right? Every time you do that, it gets sharper and sharper. Okay? So you want to write something? Okay, go do it. Go write it. And now take it, ball it up, throw it in the fire.
Do it again. I heard an analogy once that I thought was perfect about writing. It's like when you're shoveling the driveway while it's still snowing, and then once you get done, you turn and like it's more snow. You're like, all right, let me get this part. You turn around, it's still there's more. Oh, let me get this. It's never over. So I guess that's a question I have. When do you say like, all right, this is worth showing people? I can submit it. Like, how do you know when it's time? Because you feel like you can always keep editing it.
You know what? I liken it to painting, right? And painters will tell you that they're never done with the painting. They just stop, right? Because if you go, because I can tell you right now, if I were to go back and look at my writings, I could always go back and be like, or I could change this sentence. Well, now that I changed that sentence, this sentence doesn't make any sense. So, all right, let me change this sentence. Well, damn, now that changes the motivation for the characters. All right, well, let me go. I could do that. And I'll never have a book. I'll never have a movie out. Never, ever, ever. Because I'm going to be doing that all day long. Mm-hmm. Okay? You get it. You finish it first. Finish it. Get it out of you. Ugh, boom. Word vomit. There it is. Cool. You get it out of you. And then if you trust someone, or if you want to hire an editor, or hey, again, if you want to hit me up, okay, we'll go over it together. And we'll get it as good as it can get. All right. But you have to let it go. You can't sit there and baby it. You know what I mean? You can't treat it like an expensive drink at the club. You just sitting there sipping. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I paid $20 for this.
$20. No. You got to get to a point where you said, all right, it's good enough to send to someone else. Because you got to keep this in mind too. If you're in the business, or if you're trying to be in the business of selling your screenplay, you're going to get it over to whoever studio. They're going to read it. And guess what they're going to do?
They're going to change it.
They're going to change it. So you just want to get it to where you feel like, all right, I've told the story. I've told it in a way that, okay, cool. And then you get it off. And because really, to be honest, there is no end. I could pull out Skater Boy right now and go back over it and be like, well, I guess it doesn't end. You just have to be like, all right, cool.
I'm done
with that. You have to have the mental fortitude to say, all right, you're done. And go on to the next one.
I love that. When does the book come out?
The book is, like I said, it's available for pre-order now, but it drops officially on September 1st. Oh, okay. So if you were to pre-order it now on Amazon, it'll download to your Kindle automatically on the 1st. And then obviously on the 1st, you can go out and, do what you want to do with it.
Got it. All right. So it's coming out on the 1st. What are you doing right now? So obviously you have the book coming out. You got other screenplays? Are you still coaching people, or what are you doing?
So I'm coaching people still. I'm trying to scale it, right? Because I coach, but I don't coach as often as I'd like to. Mm-hmm. So I'm coaching people right now. I'd like more, but I have a decent following on like TikTok of all things. I never thought I would, I never thought that. But I got a decent following on TikTok. You can follow me there. My tag is called It's Kel. So ACTUALLYITSKELS. And for whatever reason, people follow me on that, which is crazy because I created 2 TikTok accounts. One for like my serious, here's the writing stuff, and one to goof around on. And the one that goof around on is the one people took to. I'm like, damn, I'm trying to get you guys.
TikTok's just a silly place.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Whatever. And then of course the same thing with Instagram. But I'm always writing. I'm always trying to create something because I have things in the works that I personally like to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm working on a short film. I'm working on a short film that I wrote a little while ago with me and my team called From Zero to Zenith. I had a short film debut last year's Urban Film Festival. I missed this year's, but I had a film debut last year at Urban Film Festival called The Banana Man that I shot with my team about a year ago that we shot. Yeah, you know, I'm doing this. I want people, you know, I don't want to do the book a disservice and not promote it and not let people know that it exists. So I'm doing this thing right here, going out and trying to talk to as many people as I can and give the book what it deserves, which is to be shown and to be seen in front of people who may not, you know, like I said, have the confidence that I feel they need to get started on their projects. I had a young lady contact me on TikTok and she was like, all right, I want to work with you. Da, da, da. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, my thing is I'm ready when you're ready.
Right.
Month went by and then she was like, okay, I'm ready. Okay.
Right.
If you're ready, I'm ready. You know what I mean? Having confidence in yourself and your abilities is a huge, huge deal. And a lot of us lack it. I mean, you know, I have my reasons for why I may lack confidence, but a lot of us, you know, they lack confidence in certain things and it stops them from pursuing what they want to do, which is understandable. You know, you're scared. You know, it's scary to make those leaps and say, I want to do this thing when you've got something maybe that's sustaining you or keeping you, you know, where you're at, and, you know, and it's safe, right? My bills are paid, you know, I can pay my car, I can, you know, get groceries and da, 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 da. And I don't know if this other thing is going to do that for me. I don't know, you know, but if you take that chance and you just do a little bit, take a step in that direction, you don't know where that step's going to lead you, you know, if you just keep taking those steps. And I hope that's what this thing does. Again, that's why it's a road trip. You know what I mean? I hope people can understand that there is something at the end if you sit and focus on that ending, because it's also a metaphor for life. It's not just about storytelling. It really is. I chose that title for a specific reason, because it's more than just about writing. It really is about you and gaining the confidence to live your life how can I say it? To live your real truth, to do the thing that you feel that you're here to do and have the confidence to do that. That's why it talks about manifestation. That's why there's confidence building exercises in it. That's why I share the actual method. The actual method itself is nothing spectacular. You know, I'm not rewriting, you know, the Bible or anything like that. I'm not about to drop some philosophical bomb on you that's gonna just, you know, blow your, you know, no. The method itself is very simple. It is literally just what I said. Start with the ending in mind. That's it. But having the proper tools to understand the things that are coming to you for a reason. Having the confidence to say, this is a good idea, I'm going to work with it. Being able to manifest that ending and saying, okay, I know, I can see it in my mind's eye where we're going to go. Having the tools to say, okay, this is the type of ending I want to have. Having the tools to say, these are the types of stories that I can tell. Having all that stuff with you and saying, okay, now that I know these things, I can get to where I'm trying to go and tell the kind of stories that I want to tell. That's what the whole thing is about. Nice.
No, I love that. I think the confidence piece, it is twofold. One of them is, do I trust myself and my abilities to do it? And then another one is, do I have the knowledge? Do I have the toolkit? Like, oh, this is the kind of story I'm telling. This is the kind of ending I want. Because I mean, that was one of the biggest reasons I wanted to start the podcast, is because I want to encourage people to just get started on whatever it is, you know?
Right.
And like, I can show you examples of all types of different people in different industries that just took that chance and look, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I love what you're doing with that book. Like I said, I'm going to check it out because I've been trying to get into just more of a creative writing habit. But I guess from what's holding me back is I almost feel like I'm wasting my time. It's like I'll write from me or whatever, but then I'm just like, bro, I could have been doing this on my podcast. I could have been inviting more guests. I could have been doing so many other things. And instead I'm just, I'm sitting here. But I actually do. I want to show you this that I've been working on.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty interesting.
What you got?
This is going to be, hold on, let's see here. This is going to be interesting. So, look. All right, can you see this?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so check this out. This right here is like a little project that I was working on with somebody else. So the whole thing is called At One. It looks like a tone.
Oh, okay, that's what I was reading, but okay.
I think that, well, the word of tone derives from just at one-ment, you know what I'm saying? Being at one. And I feel like universal oneness is something that we could strive for. But regardless of the title, what I was doing was I was taking these images that I generated, and I was creating these characters. So like putting them on movie posters, and then I was giving them all their own story. So like my idea was, what I'm basically trying to do is sell the movie posters. This is art, they look cool, but each poster, it's like, this could be a movie. Whereas like if we sell enough posters, it's like I'm getting almost like taking the risk out of writing a movie where it's like, I know it has an audience, because look, all these people are buying this shit just based off of the poster. And then I would have, stories and, characters in there. One of the questions I have is like, and this is why I want to get the book, is like starting with the end. Because I feel like I would start with the beginning. Like for example, this character, I was always fascinated with like making the leap from a type 1 to a type 1 civilization. Like somehow we harness the power of the earth and we don't have to, degenerate it anymore. So like this character is like the CEO of a company that figures out a way to harvest energy from the earth's core in a way that's sustainable. So it's not like it's going to destroy the earth, but it just makes it that we have an abundance of energy that we can give out to people for free.
Okay.
So it's like, but this is another twist. Like she gets it from like an entity, like I don't know if it's an alien or maybe it's a god or whatever, but she gets it. It comes to her in like a vision or a dream, the technology.
Okay.
So she goes ahead and makes the company. She hires a team, yada yada yada. Obviously, she's getting like bureaucratic people, capitalists, people on her team are getting assassinated. They're trying to kill her, like all these types of hurdles and yada yada yada.
Okay.
I don't really know how I want it to end though. Like I didn't have the end in mind. I had the character, I had the cool shit.
Yeah.
And I had I had her being successful, and then I guess the next movie would be like them moving on to like, what are the implications of being a type 1 civilization? Like, how do we change the way that we live life? Yada yada.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just want to throw all that out to see your thoughts on the project in general, and just.
Right. So one, that's real dope. Number one. Okay. What can happen when you do not have an end in mind? What can happen is your characters can spiral out. Yeah. Right. Because they have no direction. Okay. And what that could lead to is them not being really fleshed out because they don't have a direction. We don't know where they're going to go. We don't know what their journey looks like for them. This could all be the beginning for them, right? And there could be more to come after that. We don't know. Right. Okay. I would say, and you kind of touched on something a little bit, right? You touched on her, being successful, like, at the end of it. But what does success look like? Does it mean she sells the company off and Earth is now in a better place and there's no more, there's no more whatever. With the way that I teach it, you don't need to have, and let me say this. You don't need to have a solid ending in mind where this is the end point, boom, that's the end, right? You just need to have an idea of the ending in mind. Mm-hmm. When I wrote my book, Lions for a Day, I didn't have the ending. I just had an image in my head. And the image was my characters on the top of a skyscraper overlooking the city. That's it. That's all I had was just the image. I know I want them on a skyscraper. That's all I knew. Mm. Okay. And then I, off that image, went back and was able to, whatever. With this, I would say, get the idea, trust. I bet you right now, if you were to free yourself of any doubt, and I said to you, all right, Jay, how do you want it to end? Just throw out I don't care what it is. Just throw out however. It does not matter. Throw it out there, and you trusted yourself, and the literal first thing that came to your mind, you said it. We could work with that. So let's do that exercise right now. I don't care. You could say vanilla ice cream. It doesn't matter. Okay. Right now, how does it end?
So this is all right. Right now, it would end with her bringing the company, or basically getting the government to be like, yes, this is what we're going to go with. Now we have abundant energy. That's one of the things we don't have to worry about. Like
Stop.
Oil.
Stop. It ends with her winning.
Yeah.
Right? Now that we know it ends with her winning, we can plot a course for her. Okay? We can go back to where it all started. And okay, it started over here. We can now give her ups and downs, and we can make her, you know what I'm saying, a fight for that ending. You got to think, what does she want? What does she want?
She wants to, because the issue is, you know, global climate change, poverty.
Too complicated. Make it simple. What does she want? Make it as simple as, break it all the way down. What does she want? Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. What does she want?
Peace. Like,
Boom.
Yeah.
Stop. She wants peace. That's easy. How hard is it to be peaceful? How hard is it to be peaceful? It's not hard, right? It's not hard to be peaceful. You can go outside and talk to your neighbor and say hello. That's being peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That peace is not hard. Getting it, hard as hell. Make getting it hard as hell. Okay? Mm-hmm. So that in the end, if all she really wants is peace, okay, let's see her struggle to get that peace. Let's see how she moves in order to do, let's see the things that she'll do to get that peace. I'm gonna tell you a little, this isn't a secret, but I'm gonna tell you something. You ever notice that the best movies have the best villain?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Here's the difference between a good guy and a bad guy. Your good guy, your bad guy should be just as awesome as your good guy. Okay? Should be just as charismatic or whatever they need to be. They should be just as well thought out as your good guy is. The difference is, and they could even want the same thing. Okay? So there could be another company, for example, that wants the same thing she wants. Okay? Mm-hmm. It's how you go about it. Right? Maybe the bad guy's like, I want peace. And the only way to get peace is if I rule the world. If you all just do what I say, you'll be peaceful. You'll have happy lives. But in order to get that peace, I'm going to have to kill off everybody. Your good guy's like, well, I want peace, but I don't want nobody to die. Mm-hmm. They both want the same thing. Right? Take a look at, I love to make this comparison. Take a look at Netflix's Daredevil.
I love that show.
Show is amazing. You know why? Because Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin is the best villain you've ever seen in your entire life.
Whoa. He was a good villain, but damn, I love some other villains too.
I'm sorry. You know why he's the best? I'm sorry. Do you know why he's the best villain you've ever seen in your entire life? Because him and Daredevil want the exact same thing. Mm. They want the same thing. Only he is willing to break some heads to do it and dump some bodies in the river to do it. And Daredevil is like, I don't think I want to do that. He'll beat the shit out you. But they both want the same thing. And you care about Kingpin. You understand why he's doing what he's doing. You see where he came from. You see the life that he lived and the adversity and the struggle that he went through to get. You see how hard his life was. You see his father being, this abusive person, him wanting to protect his mother. You see the poverty that he went through and the rise that he got to get where he got. You see it all, right? Mm-hmm. You feel for him in a sense. When he loses, you're like, dang, you feel for him. You know what I mean? Because he just wants the city to be nice. And he's like, but the only way to get it is through force. I don't know how to do this. I try to do it the nice guy way, but y'all don't want that.
Right.
So we're going to have to do it this way. Look at Killmonger from...
Yeah, the Killmonger, I love it. He did nothing wrong, and I honestly would have been on his side too.
Yeah, you right. But you know what they had to do? In order to make you go, yeah, he's a bad guy. They made him kill his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
That's like that.
That's like that, the Save the Cat, where you're like, the main character saves the cat to make him look good. We had to make him look bad by, killing his girl.
We got to make him look bad. Other than that, I'm rocking with Killmonger, Killmonger 1,000,000,000%. Yup. He's right. He's right. And when your villain or your antagonist can make you go, can give you pause to go,
wait a minute.
He's right. And that makes a good villain. And that makes a good antagonist because they're going to push your protagonist to the edge. Mm-hmm. They're going to make them question their values. That's why Joker is such a good foil to Batman, because he pushes them. Joker's like, you want to end this, bro? Put a bullet in me.
Right. Do it.
Do it. Batman won't do it. He won't do it. That's his one rule. I don't kill. Shut up.
So
I love Batman, but I hate Batman.
I do too. I love Batman, but I'm also like, bruh.
I'm like, dude, come on, bro. You could be using them resources to save the inner city. You out here making tanks and shit. You could be making jobs for people.
He just want the land. Right. Like, you could be making Gotham better, right? Instead of just whooping everyone's ass.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying all of that to relate back to your earlier thing about Atone, which is Atone. I'm sorry. Which is for her to have peace. There's got to be something that opposes that for us to want to go and visit her struggle, mm-hmm. right? There has to be a force that's like, nah, we're going to do it this way. You see what I'm saying? Or my way, or however you want to put it. We're going to force our will on the people because we want peace as well. Have her fight that thing through her various means. Okay? Give your characters something to focus on. All right? Give them a journey. Give them something that they want. Make it very simple. Make getting it extremely hard. Okay? When you create your universe, what's dope about creating, right? And you may know this, but for those who don't, what's dope about creating is you set the rules, right? You set the rules. Look at the Matrix. Somebody was like, all right, there's a computer program, and when you're in the computer program, you can stop time, you can freeze bullets, you can fly, you can do you can do martial arts, you can do all this stuff, right? Someone set that up. Once you create the rules, though, do not break them. Because now you're cheating. Now you got plot holes. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. Don't cheat yourself. You know what I mean? So I think you got a great thing there. I think it's real cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you can definitely keep working on it. But try to think of how you want things to end so you can get there. Because if not, you got one piece. You know,
literally never ending. Never ending. Maybe they do have the end in mind and they just want to milk it. I don't know.
For 20 years.
Way too long. Way too long.
Come on.
Well, Kels, I definitely appreciate your expertise. This was definitely a very insightful conversation for me. It definitely had me thinking about things and also wanted to just, lean on my chops, like, and trust myself. It's like I can do it,
bro. I'm telling you. So you open up so much for yourself when you trust yourself. My dog is whiny, whatever. But you open up a lot when you begin to trust yourself and look inside and realize that everything you have is in you. Everything you have is there. All right. I like to tell people to go look at this movie called Last Dragon. Okay. And it is a phenomenal. It's a phenomenal showcase of having everything already there and overcoming all types of stuff. Go look at Last Dragon is one of the best movies ever written.
Last Dragon. I don't even know if I've seen it. I gotta check it out.
Blasphemy. Last Dragon.
Who are the actors in it?
Bro, we're talking a movie from the 80s with Timot, Julius slips
Carey.
Bruce Leroy and who's the master?
Oh, I see. I just looked it up. Mm-hmm.
Bro, watch this movie. It's cheesy, but it is perfect. It is perfectly told. But watch that.
I want to check it out. September 1st, we got Road Trip book coming out.
Road Trip Method, yep.
The Road Trip Method. So make sure to pre-order that, everybody. And check out Kels on his social media, TikTok, his website, all of that.
All that.
All right, Kels, appreciate you, brother.
Hey, man, thank you very much for your time, man.
All right, see you soon.
All right, brother.